Perfect. That's great. So I have just muted somebody. You can speak up as we get going. It's just because we had a bit of background noise. So there will be an interactive element where you can feel free to take yourself off of mute and engage in the session as much as possible, but just keep yourself muted while the presentation's going on, just so that we don't get all the background noise. So as Sarah said, so I'm Emma Redding and I'm the curriculum manager for early years and teaching assistant apprenticeships. And I've got Tasha on as well today, who will be our virtual classroom tutor for the day, who's going to be delivering our taster session element. We are recording this part of the session, but we will not be recording the second part of the session because just so that you can engage as much as you want to in the session without worry of it being recorded. So for the second part, please feel free to put your cameras on, take yourself off mute and engage as much as you can. That'd be great. So before we get into the taster, I'll just give you a bit of information about an apprenticeship and what apprenticeships look like. So an apprenticeship is a work-based learning program, and it's an employer-led program that allows you to earn a wage while you're learning, basically. An apprenticeship is made up of different elements. So there's apprenticeship standard. So I'll talk you through all of how our apprenticeships break down specifically in a moment. But for level 2 and 3, we basically have an apprenticeship standard where you will need to demonstrate knowledge, skills, and behaviours throughout your apprenticeship. There's also maths and English functional skills, which are mandatory for learners who are 16 to 18 and haven't achieved previous equivalent qualifications, or you can opt in or out to those if you are over 18. So that is a requirement of apprenticeships if you haven't achieved equivalent qualifications, depending on your age. There's also something called off-the-job training, which is basically your learning time for the apprenticeship. So it's any time that's given to you to develop new knowledge, skills, and behaviours that are relevant to the apprenticeship. And when you get to the end of all of that, so when you've completed all elements of the programme, you will have a gateway meeting, which is a meeting with your employer and your apprenticeship tutor to confirm you are ready for your endpoint assessment. So there's an endpoint assessment at the end of an apprenticeship programme. And this varies a bit for the two programmes we're going to be looking at today, which is level 2 and level 3 early years. So this is a bit more of a breakdown of what the level 2 and 3 apprenticeships look like. So our duration that you might be on programme for, who they're suitable for. So you'll find that level 2 is really suitable for those who are new to early years, not quite ready for level 3, potentially are straight out of school or just quite new to a workplace, or nervous about the functional skills requirements. So for somebody that's not quite ready for level 3. The level 3 apprenticeship is supporting in meeting level 3 ratios in an early years setting. So it's full recognised level 3 early years qualification. The session that's being delivered today will give you a taster of a bit of what both of our levels are like. So what both of our virtual classrooms might run like. The apprenticeship endpoint assessment, so you'll see I've got on the screen. So for level 2 at the moment, it's a multiple choice question test and a professional discussion. That is actually changing from September, where the multiple choice question test will be replaced to an observation. And level 3 is an observation and questioning and a professional discussion. So basically you are assessed at the end of your apprenticeship by an endpoint assessor, but you're given lots of support on programme to develop so that you are confident by the time you get to the end of your programme. So what are the benefits of completing an early years apprenticeship with us? So first of all, like I mentioned earlier, it's a way of earning while you learn, so no fees at all to pay. It's completely free for an apprentice. It's government and employer funded, depending on the size of your employer. So completely free for every apprentice. It's a great opportunity to gain a nationally recognised qualification that meets the EYFS requirements and to get that qualification without having to pay anything for it. A great opportunity to learn by doing with real world experience in a childcare setting. So it allows you to learn and apply the theory you're learning into practice very easily. You get the expert tutor support and flexible learning that fits around you and your learning style. So because every learner is allocated an apprenticeship tutor and will have one-to-one sessions, it's very individualised. There's a lot that we support you with as well. In addition to supporting you just to achieve your apprenticeship, we do a lot to build your confidence, communication, and career ready skills. So we have lots of additional sessions that we can provide you with and lots of additional resources to support your career development, your confidence, and your communication, and so on. And it opens a lot of doors to higher education and leadership roles. I will go through on the next slide just a bit about some of the possible progression routes that you might be able to follow from completing this apprenticeship. So this is our suggested progression route for somebody that wants further study within early years. So obviously, as we're talking through today, we've got level 2 early years practitioner and level 3 early years educator. Further learning, so you could go on and do the early years lead practitioner level 5 apprenticeship. This is for those in a leadership role or emerging into new leaders basically in an earlier setting. So if you're a room leader or having that kind of role where you could develop into leadership, then that would be the apprenticeship for you. Then we can also signpost you if you do your level 5. We can signpost you to a university that we are partnered with who do an online early years top-up degree. So that's something that we might suggest for you to do if you want further study and want to gain a full degree. And you can also then, if you gain your top-up degree, you can then come back to Best Practice Network and complete the early years initial teacher training course if that's something you're interested in. So you can see there's a full progression route that allows you to progress fully with your studying and your career, depending on what you do want to progress with. So that's just one of many progression routes that you could take after doing an early years level 2 or 3 apprenticeship. So how are our programs delivered? You're going to see a little bit about what our delivery looks like today with our virtual classroom. But it's basically a blended program of face-to-face and online study. So you get a one-to-one tutor allocated to you. So you get an apprenticeship tutor who will visit you in your workplace and who will also do online visits with you. And you'll have some online independent learning and online study to do as well. We have virtual classrooms, which we're going to be looking at today, which are interactive group classrooms where you can develop your knowledge in certain topics. You will have progress reviews with your tutor every 6 weeks to make sure that you're supported fully on programme and make sure that you stay on track and are given the feedback and guidance that you need to succeed. We have all of our tutors are experts within the field, so they're all early years nursery managers, teachers, and so on. So we've got that specialist one-to-one tutor support for you. We also have the BPN Boost programme. So this is our personal development, career information, advice and guidance and welfare programme. So you'll find classes on things like mental health, resilience building, careers, and we also have podcasts and a range of different resources that can support you with your development. We encourage a lot of reflection on programs, so the regular reflections on your learning and practice are really important. And because it is an employer-led qualification, you'll find the partnership working between your employer and us as the training provider and you as the learner is a really important part of an apprenticeship. So that's just an overview of what our delivery plan looks like. As part of that, obviously, I mentioned our virtual classrooms. You'll see some examples on the screen. So our virtual classrooms are our online group classes, and you're expected to attend one of these per month. And they are designed to be really engaging and interactive. So you'll see on the screen, we do different kind of word clouds and different interactive tools. We have breakout rooms where you'll go into different rooms and discuss different things with learners before coming back together as a whole group. We do polls and scenarios, so lots of interactive and engaging elements, which you will get to see today within the session that Tasha is delivering. So at that point, I am going to hand over to Tasha, who is going to deliver the interactive taster session elements so you can actually see a bit about what our classes are like. As I've mentioned, I'm stopping recording now so that you can get fully engaged in the session. So please feel free throughout to take yourself off mute, pop your cameras on and experience what the classrooms are like. So I'm just going to stop recording now.